Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. For this video, we're going to be going over cosmetics, and we're going over cosmetic upgrades. Now, this video I didn't really think initially I needed to make, but at further inspection, I actually kind of did. And what's going to be coming out is, of course, we have a lot of cosmetic upgrades you're going to have for characters, and you gotta know which characters you're going to use them on first. And in addition to that, you have to know which cosmetics in particular to upgrade first, so you can have the best possible all-rounded stats for all your characters. So I'll be going over a couple key characters for this video, and I'll be going over them in the timestamps in the description below so you can see them, and I'll be going over different characters that you should be doing at first. So go ahead and stay tuned for the intro of the part of the video, and then after that you can skip to the characters that you want to skip to. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the thing you want to do with cosmetic upgrades, as a basic point, no matter what, is you want to use the cosmetic upgrades on two different kinds of characters. The first characters you want to use them on is your PvP team. Whatever PvP team you're maining first, or whatever characters are core to your PvP teams that you use all the time, those are the characters you want to use cosmetic upgrades on first. The second character you want to use it for, of course, is going to be somebody for Guild Boss, which is going to be Red Derieri. And if she is in your PvP team too, that's kind of like a double bonus. So I'll be going over each of the different units that you could be using in your PvP teams, and we'll have them in the links and timestamps in the description below, and which cosmetics are going to be worth upgrading versus not. Alrighty, first on the list we got Demon Meliodas. Now, Demon Meliodas is a really interesting unit because he's going to share a cosmetic with all the other Meliodases. So every single Meliodas in the game should be building out this cosmetic first as their primary cosmetic for both red Demon Meliodas, blue, green, all the Demon Meliodases, Lost Vayne Meliodas, etc. This is the first cosmetic you should always upgrade, and this is the only cosmetic you should upgrade first. Everything else after that, the other four is going to be variable. Now, Demon Meliodas, as you can see, has a bunch of different UR cosmetics. He's got ones from upgrades. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total UR cosmetics that you can get for Demon Meliodas, including the final boss at the end here. And the last one, of course, is the half-year anniversary event. So a total of 7 UR cosmetics that you can get for Demon Meliodas. The ones that are going to be worth maxing out for him, though, are going to be, let's see here. The final boss one is going to give 2% resistance rate as well as crit defense. We got this one here giving 4% resistance rate. This one is crit resistance as well as crit defense, etc. Great defense, great defense. So he's kind of got a theme going for his cosmetics. Overall, I'd say going with the ones that are more resistance based is probably a little bit better. What happens with Super Awakening is you're going to get a lot more crit resistance and crit defense during Super Awaken for many different characters. So if I go into Demon Meliodas right here, oh, that's not what I wanted. I want this one. For Demon Meliodas' Super Awakening, I can go see that he's getting a 15% crit chance, which is one of the things. Crit chance and crit damage are kind of the things that you're getting for almost every character in the game for their Super Awakening. They're also getting regeneration rate. This one right here is crit damage. Oh, sorry. This one right here is crit resistance, 15% crit resistance. This one is 15% crit defense, and this one here says 9% critical chance. So that's what he's getting for his Super Awakenings. So because he's getting all those extra critical stats, he's basically going to start out at, let's see for substats. This is resistance, this is pierce resistance, regeneration, crit chance, crit damage, crit defense, and crit resistance, crit defense, the same order as in global. So if I look at the actual things here, the ones you really want are the ones with resistance rate, because the resistance rate ones are going to give you this most defensive subsets that you don't actually have on your kit. And seeing how you're getting extra crit defense later on, what you're going to need is going to max out specific cosmetics. So the first one you're going to max out is this one right here for the red Demon Meliodas. The next one over here is going to be for the red Sailor one. The third one you're going to max out, let's see here, could be from this one right here, which is the half-year anniversary event. Next one we can go for final boss, because that one's pretty much free to play and everyone has it. And the last one is pretty variable. I would say the Dark Knight one is the most common one that people do have. But if we look through all the other SSR cosmetics and make sure that we're not getting anything wrong here, it looks like you can basically go with either that, Blue Demon Meliodas' main cosmetic, or you can go with this crit resistance hero affinity cosmetic down here, which is kind of an interesting thing. It's actually better than the final boss one. So this SSR cosmetic down here for the affinity for, I believe, Blue Demon Meliodas is going to be a very good cosmetic to upgrade. if you really want to spend the extra cosmetic resources to upgrade this one, you can. But if you don't really feel like upgrading that and you want to do like the Dark Knight one instead, that's perfectly fine. But the Blue Demon Meliodas one, I think, is kind of a hard skip. Don't do that one. And if you have to, you have to. But I'd say skip that one. All right, let's go to weapons. So for Blue Demon Meliodas, Green Demon Meliodas, everybody else, you pretty much want Pierce. There's only 5 weapons that you can really match up for his core weapon kit. Let's go ahead and if we go to his substats, of course, for all the Demon Meliodases, they start out with decent crit chance as well as Pierce rate. So if I go to the weapons here, there are 5 UR cosmetics that you can get, but the New Year's one is only 4% crit damage, so it's actually a pretty bad cosmetic. The other one you can get is the Final Boss cosmetic, which is also 4% crit damage, which is also pretty bad. But the 3 big ones that I think that are really good are the Red Sailor one, the PvP shop one, and the Dark Knight one. All 3 of those are very good weapons. The other ones that are actually really good are going to be this weapon right here, which is you get this one out of the shop for diamonds. And if I go scroll around a little more, looks like the only other ones that you can really get is from the pop-up shop right here for 2%. Not really great there. There's no pop-up shop weapon, I don't think, for Demon Meliodas. It doesn't look like. Let me go look to see if I have any other weapons for him on my account. There's this one, but that one's the PvP shop. This one. As you can see, I haven't upgraded his. So overall, for all this, these 2 I would kind of skip because this one right here, this shop weapon right here is actually better than the Final Boss event weapon or the New Year's weapon. So if you are like trying to min-max all the stats, the 5 I would max are these 5 right here. These 5 are probably the best ones overall. You could go for the Hero Affinity one if you really want to instead of this one, but you can actually get a little bit better stat. So it's really interesting that there are a lot of characters, as we're seeing here, that do not have their UR cosmetics as their best in slot weapons. There are other characters out there. So it really just depends on how you're going to focus everything. All right, for headpieces for Demon Meliodas, he gets a total of 6 UR headpieces. Looks like the ones who want, of course, are ones for recovery rate and lifesteal. This one for Final Boss gives lifesteal and regeneration rate, which is fine. We got over here, the Dark Knight one gives 7% regeneration rate, which is pretty shit. Right here, this one, there's the Kabuki mask on top, which is this one looking right here. That one you definitely want to max out. So this one right here, you definitely want to max out the Sailor one. You can skip the UR shop weapon one here with the Demon Horns. This one right here, you can pretty much skip. That one's not really a good one. The other one though, Kabuki mask over here, this one's pretty good because this one has 2% lifesteal on it. That one's nice. I would skip this one, but this Kabuki mask one over here for the SSR cosmetic that you can get pretty much anytime you want to. That one's pretty good because it has 2% lifesteal. Now most people are gonna have 2 other cosmetics after this point, so you're gonna have regeneration rate or recovery rate. You want recovery rate instead of regeneration rate, but it's not really gonna matter because you're not gonna get enough out of it. So the one that you can get, of course, as the Demon Mark one that you can get on your face right here. This one gives 7% regeneration rate, and that one's the Dark Knight one. So you're kind of forced into going for the Dark Knight one and then maybe another SSR one if you really want to. But I guess if you really wanted to go for another one after this point, would be this one. So it'd be this one right here. So I guess this one is better than this one. So we go with the UR cosmetic here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these 5 are the ones that you would want to do for best in slot. It's actually kind of weird that these ones are the better ones versus the Dark Knight one or the New Year's one because they give regeneration rate for the substats. And seeing how you're going to use cosmetic upgrades to min-max all the characters, that's going to give you the most gain. All right, now let's go over Derieri. All right, so for Derieri's armor cosmetics, they're not going to matter too much unless you're going to PvP, so you want to go with the ones with resistance rate. So I'm just going to go over these briefly. This one right here is resistance rate. All the UR ones are fine to do, and then the other 2 SSR ones I would do are the Draw Hero one that you can get here, and doesn't matter. They all kind of suck. They're all pretty even. The best one is this one right here, this dress looking one. But the other one that you get, so you can skip that one, is this one right here. This is the schoolgirl one. This one comes at a later date. It has 6% resistance rate. So we're skipping this one. So just skip this one entirely. You don't have to upgrade. Just upgrade these 4 right here, and you'll be good to go. And then the 5th one will be this schoolgirl looking one that you get later. The other one that you get for her, for the schoolgirl one, is going to be this one right here, which is crit chance as well as crit damage for the weapons. So let's go over to her weapons real quick. We can skip the SR weapon, obviously, because we're going to go for crit damage on her weapons. So we want to go with these 4 weapons for her, and then go for the new weapon for her, which is going to be these gloves here. And then finally for her headpieces, it doesn't really matter too much which ones for the headpieces. Obviously, lifesteal is going to be really good. It's going to be let's see, these 4 right here, and then the last one, which is going to be her headpiece for this. And I believe this is the one right here. This is the schoolgirl one, and it has a little patch on the side for the schoolgirl. So this is the one. It has recovery rate as well as regeneration rate. Not really the best, but those are the ones for her. All right, next up we got Escanor. Now I don't have every cosmetic in the game, and I actually need to go get the final boss one still, so I'll go get that in a little bit. But let's go over Escanor and talk about his cosmetics. So Escanor gets a ton of different cosmetics, and here's the final boss one for the last cosmetic that he receives. And Escanor has a lot of options. My opinion for Escanor is resistance rate and crit defense is the way to go. So you want to go with the ones that have the highest value. So let's see. So let's see, if there's a UR crit resistance rate right here. This one has crit defense. The New Year's one has crit defense, but 7% crit resistance here for the Dark Knight one. All right, so the first one that I say to do, no matter what, is going to be his final boss one, 100%. When that comes out, you definitely go for it. It's a long way away on global, but probably about 5-6 months. But when it comes there, you'll be good to go. All right, next one. This one is pretty decent. It has 6% crit defense. There's not a ton with resistance rate. So the 2 that are definites are the Evolve Hero one and the Red Hero one. So Green Escanor's you evolve right here, and the Red Sailor one. So they're gonna look like this one and this one. The other one, the other ones you're gonna get is kind of variable. I'd say Red Escanor is a good bet there. So that's a nice 4th for the ones. And the last one you should do. Sorry, my D drive filled up. All right, the last one, I think between them, I would say you can choose between the SSR cosmetic from the shop, which is the purchasable one. Oh, that's my bad. Which is going to be this one right here, I believe, because this one has resistance rate. Or you can go with this one right here. And I think this is the best one. So this one, I think, is the other one that you go with. So we go with 1, 2, and then the SSR for Red Escanor, which is going to be this one. This one has 1% resistance rate, not 2%, I guess. But that's still better. So that's still crit resistance and resistance rate. So that's still good. So 1, 2, and then that one there, 4. And the last one I would say would be this one or this one for the UR here, for Evolve. All right, Escanor weapons. So Escanor gets a lot of different weapons, and he gets 2 more weapons that just came out. This one right here has crit chance as well as crit damage, and the second one that you get from the final boss just now has pierce rate as well as crit chance, which is really good. The 2 things that you want for Escanor are crit chance and pierce rate. So those are the two ones you want for his actual kit. The reason you want crit chance is because he has very low crit chance innately, but when he does crit, he hits like a fucking truck. His overall crit damage is extremely high at 181%, but he needs a crit to actually have that happen. So definitely go for some crit chance. The New Year's one has 5% crit chance, which is pretty nice. So the Dark Knight one is a definite yes. So definitely go for the Dark Knight one. The next one I would go for is the Red Sailor one. That one's insanely good too. The third one is of course the Rita. The 4th one is kind of up in the air. I would say either do one of these 2 weapons here for Escanor, and the last one I would say to do is gonna be is going to be the final boss weapon. So if you want to save some cosmetic upgrades for his final boss weapon, I would definitely do that. It would be very much worth it. So in the future to get that. I know it's a long way away, but if you want to upgrade an Escanor cosmetic before that, I would say then do the other axe and just do these 5 right here. These are all very, very good weapons for him. All the UR weapons right here are good. And yeah, this one, I don't know what this one's from. Oh yeah, there's a new Escanor set. I forgot. Should go over that too. Caveat, I forgot. I forgot about a new Escanor set. All right, let's go look. Crit resistance, crit defense, crit chance, and crit damage for the weapon. Resistance rate. Okay, so this one's gonna pick up. So instead of this will be the final final cosmetic upgrade for him. This one that just came out on the JP version. This will be the final cosmetic for him. And then the headpiece is definitely worth. So this whole set is really good for him. The weapon, you either go with. I'd say if you want to do this one right now, you can. This one is better than this one, but if you want to do every other one first and then do this one last, and then this one, if this weapon comes out after that, then just get that weapon. Or you can skip the new user weapon and skip this one and then go for this one and the free-to-play weapon as well. So if you wanted to save some time, you can do that. But Escanor's heyday kind of falls off at that point, so definitely consider doing it earlier rather than later if you want to use Escanor now. And then for headpieces for Escanor, let's go look. For headpieces, he gets a ton of different ones that you can use. We get the new headpiece right here. The newest headpiece gives you lifesteal as well as regeneration rate and recovery rate, so it's really good for the final boss one. Definitely go for that one. The Dark Knight one's a 100% skip. The other ones that you can get, the SSR mustacheless one is really good. So if you go for the mustacheless Escanor, this one has lifesteal on it. So if you wanted to get some lifesteal on your Escanor, that's a great way to do it. So mustacheless Escanor. The other one is going to be the New Year's one, which is the Pimp Hat Escanor. If you don't have it yet, get the Pimp Hat Escanor. The other one you can do is this one right here. That's 3. It's going to be the final boss one. The 4th one is going to be the new cosmetic that you can get here. And then the 5th one, I would have to say, would be the Sailor one. The Sailor one is probably the best of all of these if you're trying to get a just the best possible cosmetics to upgrade. Okay, so I've already started working on cosmetic upgrades for Gowther on JP, and I think I made mistakes, and I'm not sure. But what I've recently started doing is, like, on the global version, of course, we have Gowther. We can use him for guild boss for maximizing score, etc. And many people can do fun things with them. But what you need, of course, on Gowther, as far as the primary stat, is you need as much resistance as possible. And Gowther has a ton of different cosmetics. The best cosmetic for Gowther, which I didn't pick up on JP, is going to be the Halloween cosmetic. This one has a total of 7% resistance, which is crazy good. So as far as Gowther's best armor piece cosmetic, make sure to pick up Gowther's armor cosmetic for Halloween. Very, very good for him. As far as the other cosmetics for Gowther, the ones that we're definitely going to need, of course, are going to be the Sailor event cosmetic. We're going to need the UR gear for Blue Gowther. So those 3 are the big core ones right here. And as far as beyond that point, there are a lot of other characters that the other ones you can use. But the unfortunate thing is, after this point, the resistance values you can gain are very, very low. So you have to decide if it's worth it or not to you. So the most that you can get out of Gowther for extra resistance after that is going to be a 2% resistance rate from this one right here, and another 2% from the base of Blue Gowther. Those are the only ways you can get extra resistance for your characters to maximize your resistance. The other UR cosmetics give like crit resistance, crit defense, etc., which are all okay, but the thing you really need for Gowther is resistance rate if you're trying to do patience hits on him and stop a lot of Merlins coming your way from rolling back your ultimate. It's actually kind of funny to watch to see Gowther do very, very well with this, but I definitely recommend, if you are considering running an ulti rush style team or something like that with a Gowther, this would be a really funny way of rushing your Gowther ulti and then preventing Merlin rollbacks. This is a very hilarious strategery. Overall, those 3 for sure. And then after that, if you don't want to invest into extra resistance, you can then go for different pieces. I'd say crit defense over crit resistance. Gowther on his base crit resistance right now is at 82% crit resistance, so he's already really, really high on that. So if you want to go for more crit resistance, that would be an okay way to go, because then you won't get crit on your Gowther. So high crit resistance piece would be this piece right over here, which is going to be the evolution for Red Gowther. And if you want to go for more resistance rate, I would say the best piece after that would be this SSR piece. So beyond that, there's not really a lot of high crit resistance pieces besides this piece right here for the Dark Knight set. So you can go for the Dark Knight set over this one as well. It's a much better piece because it's 7% crit resistance versus the 4% crit resistance on UR Gowther. So the core 3 are these 3, and then after that, I would say if you wanted to focus on other pieces, the best one would be focusing on the Dark Knight one, and then potentially I would say this piece right here, which is, I believe, is a shop cosmetic for Gowther, not an affinity one. So those 5 would be the best for him. There aren't any other pieces that I know of that give crit resistance, though. For overall substats, Gowther has very low pierce rate, and I would say that for Gowther, you want as little crit chance as possible, so you crit Lost Vayne Meliodas is a lot less, and you want to go for as high pierce rate and crit damage as you can get because of the other two stats. So let's go into Gowther's cosmetics, of course, for weapons, and if you look at his overall weapons, there are very few weapons that have low crit chance or none at all. So the ones that you can get that would actually provide some value, of course, are going to be the Dark Knight one. This Dark Knight one is probably one of the best cosmetics for him. I don't have it on JP, because, as you can see. So that's kind of unfortunate. There is this one right here, which I believe just came to the game as far as the JP version goes. And this one has crit chance, 4% crit chance, as well as 2% crit damage is his new cosmetic set. His armor piece there, this one right here is another one you could save for. Sorry, I forgot Gowther got new cosmetics too. Gowther's cosmetic for this one is going to get resistance rate for this one. So if you wanted to do the Dark Knight one and then save for this one in particular, this one just came to the JP version. It's definitely an optimal choice. It's better than going for the SSR piece over here. So if you wanted to level up a UR piece in the meantime and do this one instead, it'd be fine. So the newest weapon for him is kind of bad for crit chance, unfortunately. So you have pierce rate, crit damage from the Halloween weapon. There's another pierce rate weapon here, another here. So you're kind of just like in a kind of shitty situation. The UR swimsuit event, the Dark Knight event are definitely the ones you should have gotten if you didn't get those already. And then the other 4 that you have here, those are all kind of in the mix. So you can either use any one of these, but the UR final boss one is really easy to obtain. So that would be another one I would pick. So these 3 for sure. And then the other 3 that you can get, or other 4 you can get, are kind of like up in the air. So pick whichever ones you want after that. It doesn't matter as much. You could pick up this SSR cosmetic for more pierce rate if you wanted to, but I just pick a UR weapon because his weapons don't matter as much, but unfortunately you want as little crit chance as possible. So maybe going for the bow right here from Gowther and the Halloween event one would be the best choices, because that would give you the least amount of crit chance. All right, so for headpieces for the Gowther, Gowther has a lot of headpieces you can choose from. The newest headpiece that he got actually has lifesteal and recovery rate, so it's an optimal headpiece. Definitely 10 out of 10 for him. So that's going to be one of his best ones. So that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 can be the swimsuit one, because that one has lifesteal and recovery rate, so that's 2. Another one can be the final boss one, because that has lifesteal as well, 3. And the 100-day one, which is 4. What's really great about Gowther, that's a lot of free-to-play cosmetics that he has, and of course you could have picked up weapons for the swimsuit event and got the swimsuit here, one here. So that's a total of 4 cosmetics for him. And the last one we're going to see here, as you can see, none of the other UR cosmetics have lifesteal on them. The other pieces that he have only have 1% lifesteal, so I don't recommend going for an SR or rare headpiece. I'd say the best one you can go for would probably be the Halloween one, giving 7% recovery rate. That would be my choice between all the cosmetics, or going for the one that's already currently in the shop if you don't want to wait for the Halloween headpieces, and go for this one right here. And if you don't want to wait for this cosmetic that just came out to the JP version, you could go with this headpiece right here, as well as the Halloween one, which will come out next month. So let's go over King and King's cosmetics. So originally, King with his cosmetics is kind of a weird character, because King actually has 0% base crit resistance and 0% crit defense. So he's a very low defensive unit. So what you want is you want to go for either crit resistance or crit defense on him, and resistance rate. All 3 of which are going to be good. The highest possible rolls for him is great. On Super Awakening, he does get some crit defense as well as crit resistance, and then of course he gets some from the cosmetics. So let's go into his cosmetics and look at some of the new ones that he has. The one that I have on here is a free-to-play cosmetic that we got out of the DN event. It actually has resistance rate and crit defense. So I'd say this free-to-play one that you get is actually an optimal one. This comes out of Final Boss DN, I believe. No, this came out of the 100-day anniversary. This one actually came with red. This came out with Final Boss Twiggo, I want to say. This is Final Boss Twiggo and all that stuff. That's where you got that one. For his other pieces, the Red King one is really good. I'd say that was a great one for him. Red King upgrade cosmetic is great. The Final Boss one is okay. His swimsuit one is not that great either. They're both the same, so if you want that, it's fine. I'd say, okay, so his blue King's UR is resistance and crit resistance, which is okay. What else is there? There's the 100-day. Okay, so the Red King cosmetic for sure. I'd say for the other one for him is this cosmetic right here, giving resistance rate and crit defense. I'd say resistance and crit defense is probably the way I would go, so you can maximize your stats. The Halloween one for sure, that's a third one that has 7% resistance rate that you can go for. The next one after that, I would say to go for would be I would say just go free to play on that point. I would just go with the Blue King cosmetic and the Final Boss cosmetic, because that's going to be the least expensive for you and won't cost you anything. Those will probably be the 5 I would pick for overall cosmetics to increase your King defensively. For weapons for King, all right, here's the new weapon. This one has pierce rate as well as crit damage. As far as attack substats, oh, sorry about that. King has 58% pierce rate, which is pretty good, 44% crit chance, and 165% crit damage. So overall, a pierce rate thing for him would be decent, because then you're going to do a little bit more damage. Crit chance, kind of. I mean, like, the thing with crit chance, you don't want to crit LV when you do hit him, but you already have a really, really high crit chance innately, so there's really no way you can get away from critting, especially when you start with 30% base crit chance. So you can stay away from crit chance if you want to, but a lot of his weapon cosmetics do have crit chance. So for him, I'd say the Dark Knight weapon is probably a really good way to go with 7% crit rate. Pierce rate. Then we got the PvP shop weapon, which is 2% pierce rate. That's another free-to-play weapon you can get. Final Boss has pierce rate and crit chance. Another way you can go there. And then the other weapons that he has for UR are going to be the UR swimsuit as well as the Halloween. So those 3, the Final Boss, pierce rate, and then this free one right here, are very, very good weapons for him. And you get them all for free. The last one for a pay-to-win pickup weapon, whichever one you picked up is fine. They're all kind of in the mix, with the UR swimsuit one and the Halloween one coming up later. Those ones are kind of like optional. You can just pick whatever you want. For SSR cosmetics, you really don't get enough out of the pierce rate for it to matter, so I don't see anyone with actually the pierce rate at all. If you want to go for crit damage, you can, but most of the pieces that you've already gone on are majorly pierce as well as crit chance rate, so you only have one with crit damage. So I would say that the swimsuit one giving you extra crit chance was interesting with 1% crit chance, or the Halloween. Either one's fine, whichever one you've already picked up. You've already picked up the swimsuit one, you're good to go. All right, for headpieces for King. So King has a lot of headpieces that he does get, and this is the newest one that he has right now, which is regeneration rate as well as recovery rate. Though that one's pretty dog shit, so that one's not great at all. All right, so for overall headpieces, you definitely want to go with the swimsuit event version for him. If you have that already, it's great. You want to go for the purchasable one here, but this one has lifesteal, so that's 2. The next one's gonna be Final Boss, which is 3. The next one after that is going to be the 100-day one, which is 4. All of those are really good for free to play, because everybody has them free to play, which is great. And the last one you can go for, there's only one other piece with lifesteal. Oh, sorry, 2 other pieces with lifesteal. The one with the hat has a 2% lifesteal rate on it. So what you could do is go for that, or you go for the one with recovery rate. Now, recovery rate is going to affect all kinds of healing, so I would assume going for a recovery rate one would be best to go for. So you have a choice between between 2 options here. What I would say the best 2 would be going for either this one right here, which is currently in the shop, or just waiting for the Halloween cosmetic one, because it does have recovery rate. So both of those are going to affect lifesteal as well as your overall healing, so those 2 would be great. Or you could, and that's basically all you can go for, yeah. Basically, you could, I'd say skip the Dark Knight one, because that's probably not a great pickup. I have it on both versions, because you need the cosmetics at that point. But as far as which ones to upgrade, definitely go for the Halloween one if you're going to upgrade one, if you're going to buy a new one for a max min. All right, it was requested to do Arthur too because of mono red teams. So Arthur, just focus first off is UR cosmetics. He gets 4 of them already. Those ones are just easy picks. And then for the other one, the last one you should pick up for Arthur is going to be, instead of any of these ones out here, it's going to be actually just blue Arthur's base cosmetic right here for resistance rate. The thing with Arthur is that you just want to get as much as you can on him as quick as you can for his overall weapons and resistance, etc. He has decent crit resistance and crit defense as well as high crit chance. So like you're going to just go for high crit chance on him, but you want to go, you really have low pierce rate already, and then resistance rate's already high. Everything's on mid on defensive stats. So go for just those ones initially, and then the blue SSR one. All right, for weapons for Arthur. Now, Arthur has a total of 6 weapons now instead of 5. You should focus on basically all the weapons that you have in your inventory. The only one you shouldn't focus on is the SR one, because the new one that over here, this one has 1% crit chance as well as 3% crit damage, whereas the SR version has 1% crit chance and 2% crit damage. So you actually get a better cosmetic later on for free. This is actually a free-to-play cosmetic that you get. This one is much better than the SR version, so just use those 6. And then for headpieces, he actually only has 5 headpiece cosmetics, so you're just gonna have to focus all 5. All right, next up we got Merlin. This one is lengthy. All right, so Merlin's newest cosmetics too. We'll go over those and I'll pull them up. So Merlin has a new set that just came to the JP version. It's like a wizard set here. You're a wizard, Harry. I do like this one. This is cool. Main problem with Merlin, of course, is crit resistance and crit defense, just like on King. They both suffer from a major issue between crit resistance and crit defense. one Super Awaken, you get a little bit more, and then you get a little bit more resistance rate, but it's really not enough to make like the biggest difference in the world. So if you want, you can wait for that to be a wizard, Harry. All right, so Merlin has a ridiculous amount of cosmetics. So for Merlin, pick the one, you should use the one that is waifu, right? All right. Since she has so many cosmetics for armor piece cosmetics, this one has 4% crit resistance and 2% crit defense. Just focus on the ones that you can get. Like for Merlin, defensive substats don't really matter too much. Go for aesthetics and overall cosmetic upgrades. You don't need to focus on any route in particular. Focusing on crit resistance, crit defense doesn't matter. For defensive substats, all of which are going to be good. The Dark Knight one is probably the primo one that I would upgrade if you have it, as well as the Red Sailor one. Both of those are pretty darn good if you do have both of those. And then after that, the swimsuit one I like a lot, and then I go with free to play after that point. Doesn't really matter what you use after that point. But this cosmetic is pretty good too. Oh, sorry. Her last cosmetic is I got that wrong. This one is resistance rate as well as crit defense. So this one is another one I would max out too if you wanted to wait for this. But most people aren't going to wait for upgrading their last cosmetic for Merlin and buy this cosmetic for Merlin super late. So yeah, it's gonna take a while. All right. So the weapon though has crit chance as well as crit damage. Merlin has decent pierce rate, not like insane. I think it's like 20%. So it's like. Actually, it's kind of low. So his pierce is really low. If you want to go for weapons for Merlin, the Dark Knight weapon has a 7% pierce rate, which is great if you want to go pierce. If you want to go for crit damage, you can go another route too. But I'd say pierce is probably the way to go because the whole point of hitting with Merlin is you want to use an ultimate rollback. You don't really want to crit too much. So you get as much pierce as you can so you can make sure your rollbacks don't get patienced on your 1-star rollbacks. That's my advice. So I would go with these 4 weapons right here for the PvP shop one, the Red Sailor one, the UR Dark Knight cosmetic, and finally the final boss one. These 4 are probably the ones I would focus. The last one doesn't really matter too much because it's between swimsuit, cosmetic, New Year's event, etc. And the only other way you can get pierce rate is with the skull one down here. But I'd say with Merlin, since he has so many cosmetics, it's a lot more efficient money-wise as well as like diamond-wise to go with just a UR cosmetic. So just go with the swimsuit or Halloween event ones. New Year's one is probably the best weapon for her for like overall stat gains for this New Year crystal for Merlin. It's the best overall stat gain, but crit chance is arguably good and bad for Merlin depending on how you want to work against LV. So up to you if you want to go for that. And finally for headpieces, the newest headpiece that she gets does have lifesteal on it, so it is good. So if you want to wait for that, you can for a max min cosmetic. For other headpieces, if you just want to do as much lifesteal as possible for Merlin because you want to get as much as you can from the hits. The final boss one, the 100-day cosmetic, the New Year's event cosmetic that she has, those 3 are definitely big pickups. The biggest pickup though is going to be the normal one from the shop with this little crown thing. Those are big. Those are the big 4. After that, the best one after that is going to be this cosmetic that I have on screen right now for the newest cosmetic for Merlin. It has 2% lifesteal here and as well as recovery rate. So that's her best in slot. And the other ones that you can pick if you just want to have a hold in, you can basically use the Red Sailor, Dark Knight, or the Halloween event one, whichever one you want to use just for a staple hold-in. But the other one that you can use if you did pick it up during the swimsuit event is going to be the swimsuit headpiece here. So the swimsuit, this one right here, and final boss, this one right here, and then the New Year's one are all the best ones on global currently. So you can get all 5 of those. If you want to wait for an extra 1% lifesteal as well as you can wait for that, and if you don't want to pick up the New Year's one or whatever, if you didn't pick that up, it's not a total loss. So you can pick this one up later. So that's another option for you. All right, so both of the Lilias in the game are okay, but the thing you want on Lilia is you do not want crit resistance. You do not want that at all. You want crit defense and resistance rate. Those are the 2 big stats for her for overall substats. And of course you want pierce for weapons as much as you can, and then crit damage if you really want to, or crit chance if you want to. It doesn't matter for the other substat. And then lifesteal if you can get it. All right, lifesteal and recovery rate, sorry. So let's go into Lilia real quick for the armor piece cosmetics. For the swimsuit variant for her, this one has crit defense, so that one is nice. Let's go into her cosmetics. So her resistance rate for the blue Lilia, she has that one there. The shop cosmetic for this one has crit resistance, crit defense, so that one's okay too. This one over here has crit resistance. The green Lilia UR has crit resistance, and Awakened Lilia Disaster has that as well. So I'd say the best ones for her overall are going to be this one right here for Lilia, the green Lilia upgrade cosmetic. The next one I would say is the Awakened Lilia Disaster event cosmetic here. I don't know if we have this in global. I think we Oh, I'm on JP. We have this on. I don't have it on JP. I have it on global. Okay. Yeah, that. I guess we don't have it on JP. Global exclusive. Kick W. All right, so it's these 4 right here. So these are the big 4, and then for the final piece, sorry, it's these 4. I'm sorry, I get that wrong. It's these 4 right here, and then the final piece you could use is the last UR cosmetic if you want to, or you could use the Hero Affinity one. The Hero Affinity one will give you more resistance rate, whereas this one gives you crit defense. So if you wanted to go for the maximum amount of damage reduction, you could go. I would. Oops, sorry about that. The maximum amount of damage reduction. This one would provide the maximum amount of damage reduction if you do want to invest into it. This one will provide less damage reduction. So overall, this cosmetic, which is it looks like this, is a little bit better. But if you don't want to invest the resources into it and you don't want to take the time to do it, then don't bother. The only other one she gets is the swimsuit cosmetic, which is 4% crit defense, which is basically the same as doing this one right here. So you don't have to wait for the swimsuit one. This one gives a little bit better gain than this one. All right, for weapons, for Lilia, the seashell one just gives crit damage, so you don't have to worry about that. Just focus on the 5 you have on global right now, the 6 you have on global right now, whichever ones you have. Go for all the UR pieces that she has, and then the SSR pieces. Go for crit damage and crit chance. The most substats, all 5 of them are fine. You don't have to worry about like switching it up. And for Lilia headpieces, for her, the additional headpiece that she gets does have lifesteal on it. So if you do want to get a lifesteal headpiece, this is an optimal headpiece for her if you want to wait for upgrading your last headpiece on Lilia. I would say going for this one right here which is this one. That one's a great one to do. The Awaken Lilia Disaster Event, obviously a great one to do. The next one I would say would be, of course, the crown head, the demon headpiece. The other two, if you want to save on one, I would go for, of course, this one right here, which is going to be the short hair Lilia. So short hair Lilia will be a really good pickup, and then of course the last one would be this the swimsuit Lilia headpiece. That would be the optimal setup for Lilia for maximum lifesteal. But if you want less lifesteal and more regeneration or recovery rate to get your healing up, what you could do is actually go for Hero Affinity. So if you want to switch off lifesteal and not do as much lifesteal and do more healing from your healing skills, go for the Draw Hero reward for SSR Lilia, and they do the Hero Affinity rewards for free to play. This will be bigger healing versus bigger lifesteal. So you choose in your playstyle which one you want better. All right, and the big one that everyone has been asking about, hey Sekapoko, which cosmetics do I get for Lost Vayne Meliodas? Is it worth? Which ones do I buy? Which ones do I upgrade for Lost Vayne Meliodas? Okay, so for LV just got a brand new cosmetic set that came to JP, and we'll put this on the screen here so you can kind of see it, as well as a bunch of other cosmetics. So the things you want for Lost Vayne Meliodas is you want crit defense and resistance rate. Crit resistance is absolutely dog shit. So the newest one that he does have both of those substats, so it is an optimal choice for him. So if you want to pick that up, great. The actual upgrade piece for Lost Vayne Meliodas is actually one of his worst cosmetics because it does provide crit defense. So if you were trying to focus on 5 cosmetics for Lost Vayne Meliodas, what you want to do is you want to pick up the SSR version for him and all the other 4. Those 4 right here, these 4 right here, are the big ones you want to focus on for Lost Vayne Meliodas. You do not want to focus on his actual raw cosmetic from his UR upgrade. However, if you do not want to upgrade the SSR piece and you want to just hold off on that and wait for this one will come out maybe 5-6 months from now, we'll see. And this one has optimal substats if you want to upgrade that. Okay, so this was written wrong in the database. This is, instead of crit resistance, it's actually resistance rate, so this one's fine. So I'll just put this in the video. So this is fine to get. Sorry, this was actually written wrong in the database. So for armor cosmetics for Lost Vayne Meliodas, this one actually has resistance rate as crit defense, so that's fine. The one that's bad is this one, I think. No, this one has resistance as well. Do they all have resistance rate? This one, the chef one. The chef one has crit resistance. We have these mixed up. So this one is the worst one for him. Sorry, this one has 1% crit resistance. Everything else is fine though. This one has crit resistance rate, but this one has 1% crit resistance and crit defense. This is his worst one. I would much rather have resistance rate over crit defense, so I would go for that. All right, for weapons, crit damage, crit chance, If you want to go for a crit build, pierce rate is fine too, doesn't matter. But if this one has 4% crit chance as well as 2% crit damage, I think crit chance and crit damage is a great way to go for him. So these two weapons right here, these are great weapons for him. And if we go to this one right here, this one has 3 pierce rate as well as crit damage. The UR weapons is probably the best way to go. And then if you do want to upgrade this one has 4% crit damage. So this one will give you the most amount of crit damage. But if you want to go for more crit chance, you can wait for this cosmetics, but it may take a long time to get to global because it came out with the Wing King a little after it too. And finally, Lost Vayne Meliodas only has 5 headpieces, so just upgrade all of them. This newest headpiece is his most recent headpiece, has lifesteal and recovery rate on, so it's optimal. So just do all the headpieces. Don't worry about like worrying about getting another headpiece for him. Just focus on upgrading all the headpieces for him, and then he'll get his last headpiece later. Alright guys, well, my name's Sekapoko. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Got you into the video, of course, like and subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day. I will be, if you want another video like this, we get this video to, let's say, 1,000 likes or whatever, I will, of course, do another video for different heroes. Let me know in the comment section down below what heroes you would like me to do and what characters you would like me to focus on for other characters if we do another video. And whatever ones we get the most upvotes and likes or whatever, I will, of course, do. So have a great rest of the day, guys. Peace.